for WERU comes from J-Built, providing energy-efficient home building, renovations, and custom carpentry in Central and Mid-Coast Maine. Information is online at www.jbuilt.me. That's www.built.me.
It's 10:01 and you are tuned to WERU FM 89.9 Blue Hill and streaming online everywhere at weru.org. It's time for Mid-Coast Currents with your host, John Zavodny.
Happy Friday, February 18th, 2011. You are tuned to WERU 89.9 FM or streaming at weru.org. This is Mid-Coast Currents, WERU's public affairs program focusing on the latest doings and doers in Knox and Waldo counties. I'm John Zavodny. I'm professor of philosophy and humanities at Unity College. I will be your host for the next hour of informed, in-studio, and call-in discussion. Mid-Coast Currents is produced by WERU Community Radio in partnership with Unity College. My guests today are from Unity College in Maine. Unity College in Unity, Maine has an enrollment of approximately 600 students, calls itself America's Environmental College, and is the closest four-year liberal arts college to most of the Mid-Coast population centers of Rockland, Rockport, Camden, Lincolnville, and Belfast. 5 years ago, Mitchell Thomashow accepted the position of college president. A year later, Amy Knisley joined as Vice President for Academic Affairs. Both have now announced that they will be moving on after this academic year is over, and both are joining me in the WERU studio this morning. Welcome and good morning, Mitch and Amy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. In the spirit of full disclosure, I want to make it clear that I am a faculty member at Unity College, and I did serve as an academic administrator for the first 3 years of this current administration. So Mitch, Amy, and I go back a little ways, and we've spent some time together. But first things first, I think the thing everybody wants to know is, why are you leaving Unity? Amy, well, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'll start out. I let the campus know back last summer that I'd be moving on. And when that is my husband and my young daughter and I, came to Maine to join Unity and to take on this job, we expected to be here 6 to 8 years, something like that. And we knew that we'd be relocating to North Carolina later on. I'm from North Carolina originally, and my family is still there. And it's been an incredible and intense and rich and productive 4 years. And part of my life has been that some of the factors around my family needs in North Carolina have changed. And so we've decided that we need to relocate there a little bit sooner than we had expected. And that's, it's been hard. I don't want to leave this soon, but I think we've made a good run at it. So it's really to kind of shift into the next chapter of my life.
Right. Mitch, how about you?
Very similar. When I took the job, I told the board and anyone who would listen that it would be a 5-year experience for me. And in part, that's because of my age. I'll be 61 shortly, and I knew I wanted to do something different in my 60s. So I'm following that plan. And I also have family reasons. I have a son in Australia and a daughter in Seattle. And we want to be much closer to them, both my wife and I, or have the ability to spend more time with them. So those are the main reasons. I also felt that there's never a good time for any leader to leave an institution. But I felt this was the best time. That things are going well at the college. We have a new academic master plan that's on the verge of implementation. We're raising money. We have a first-rate senior staff. Our enrollments are good. Our finances are good. So I felt very confident that I could leave at this time and the college would be well positioned to hire a new president and it'd be able to move on from there.
So you feel like the college is stable enough that this transition is not going to be an issue?
Well, I think any presidential transition requires a lot of work and thoughtful consideration. But so it's an issue in that sense. Mm-hmm. But the planning for it has been wonderful. The Board of Trustees have thought very carefully about all aspects of what a new president needs and how the board can be helpful. I will be available to work with the new president, as Amy will, for the new vice president of academic affairs. So I think whoever comes in will you have a lot of information, a lot of help, a lot of support, and we'll make it as good as possible.
Right. Great. We haven't really talked much about the college yet. Let's tell our listeners a little bit about Unity College. Mitch, tell us about the college. How many students are there, and what are they like?
We have about 575 students right now. They are a very interesting group of unentitled, authentic, motivated young men and women who really care about wildlife, the outdoors, sustainability, agriculture, people who've made a choice to pursue a particular way of life. I think that's true of almost everyone who works at Unity College. So it's a mission-driven institution that wants to make a difference in the world. I've been using the 3 S's as symbolic of our strength. That's 2 more S's.
Yeah, that's 5.
Five altogether. The symbolic strength of sustainability, service, and science.
Right.
And that's what we do well. And I think that that's a niche that we serve amongst many environmental colleges. Not many have that combination. We do service learning incredibly well. We do it so well that we take it for granted. We're getting much better at sustainability, and I think science is one of the strengths of the college that we don't promote as much as we need to. We have some first-rate scientists who really have done a great job. So those are some of the strengths of the college, and we can go on and on really about what we do and how we do it and why it's important. One of the interesting things that's happened in the last 5 years is also what I would describe as the feminization of the college. We have a lot more female students. We're very proud of that. We have more female faculty and more female senior leaders. That's really changed the temperament, the direction, and the whole feeling of the college in very positive ways.
Amy, you work closely with the faculty. You are the primary supervisor for all faculty. How have you seen the Unity College faculty grow and change over the time that you've been there?
There's been a lot of change in the faculty. If you look at just a statistical array of the demographics in the faculty right now, something on the order of 60% have been with the faculty 10 years or fewer. Something on the order of 40% have been with the faculty 5 years or fewer. We're a small faculty, 36, 37 folks, so small numbers make a big difference. But that's a very significant degree of turnover. And we've seen an influx of folks coming out of doctoral programs with fresh ideas about teaching, as you would expect, fresh ideas about how to integrate assessment into teaching. We're probably in the 3rd or 4th wave of kind of active student-centered learning, and so they're bringing that to the table, which has been great for the faculty. We're seeing a new set of research and scholarship agendas and potential, and that's been really important for us. We've increased our financial investment in faculty's abilities to pursue their scholarly work, and the efforts of the college around grants such as the EBSCOR funded grant that's going on now that Amy Arnett and others are involved in. And I think that's been a great opportunity for growth and change for the faculty and for the students, because it creates research opportunities and engagements for the students. And it also creates growing pains, because then you have to shift how you think about your time and how you spend your time, how you allocate your priorities. So I think it's been challenging for the faculty. It's a small, close-knit bunch of folks, and to try to integrate all this change has been invigorating and hard.
Right. Change is always hard. We have a question from the Midcoast Currents Facebook page, and someone asked, what drew your guest to Unity, the college and community, in the first place? So what was it that was attractive about the college? Mitch, you go first.
I was very intrigued at at the prospect of having an entire campus that could move forward on a sustainability, field-based ecological learning agenda. I wanted to see how far you could move a place in that regard, what kind of influence it could have in the regional and national community, what kind of higher educational experiment would be possible when you had the chief executive who was a strong believer in sustainability and field-based ecological learning.
Right.
So it was the educational experimental possibility that most intrigued me.
Great. Amy?
Yeah, and I that's a great answer from Mitch, and it kind of reflects his own background coming out of a career in environmental higher education. My background's in philosophy, and in some ways, a very traditional conception of liberal education. But I have this focus in environmental philosophy and in applied philosophy, which is a sort of little bit of a strange horse in that realm. So the idea of being in an institution where I could focus more closely, that really understood the idea of applied theory, was very intriguing to me. And being able to step out of the faculty role a bit and have a broader prospect on the work of the campus was interesting. But the clincher for us was that my husband and I are organic growers, and the soils in this region of Maine are far superior to the gravel that we were farming in New Hampshire. So as my husband and I were debating it, after Mitch had called me with the offer, he turned and said, "You know, Amy, have you looked at the soil maps?" And that's what sealed the deal for us.